According to the conventional religion, God is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, and omnikind. Then, if this is true, why there are so many criminals? Why there are so many people suffering from incurable disease? For example, if somebody has got a pancreatic cancer or lung cancer, it's almost very difficult for him to recover. There had been so many big diseases like cholera, Kala-Azar, smallpox, and very recently corona, COVID-19 also. Such diseases come often and often. People have died very miserably. Not only that, there were so many earthquakes, so many tsunamis. People have died very miserably. Why did not God stop them? That's first question. Second question is, if the anti-God or a Satan is as powerful as God, that's what according to the story goes, then if he cannot control him, how can he help us? That's one thing. Secondly, there is another possible question also. When God is omnikind, omnipotent, omniscient, he could have easily warned many people who are very strong followers of some religion or some God that don't take that flight or don't take that train, because if that train is going to end up in a serious accident. The flight is going to just like the plunge into sea, something like what happened in the Malaysian airplane. It could have warned them, but it never did. For all this, modern science gives a very reasonable, at least plausible explanation. First thing, all the natural events like earthquake or a tsunami or a heavy flood or volcano, all of them are natural events. They are randomly taking place according to the laws of nature. So there is no such thing as God controlling any of these things, because we have disposed of God from our purview at all. There is nature. Nature is behaving according to its own local condition and according to their own laws. Among these laws, among the behavior, I should not say behavior, among the transition and transformation within the nature, where there is a big volcano, people have started living there and volcano erupts. The volcano is not trying to kill the people. It is just trying to come out. It is getting a relief. Nature is getting a relief. Earth is getting a certain relief, and when volcano takes place. Remember, volcanic eruption is something like a belching by the nature to get some relief within the internal problem occurring in nature, under the surface of earth. It is something like what we do. It is something like the belching that we do after a hurried dinner. We don't do belching to hurt others. Earthquake and volcanic eruptions are not meant to hurt you or me or anybody. It is the way that earth feels better after belching or earthquake. It is not because the nature is angry against a certain type of people or it's cursing the people. Under our soil, there are so many rocks, and those rocks are not uniform, they are uneven, and they collide among themselves due to some natural reason. In that even we got into problem. We got sniped. We got attacked. We get affected unwittingly, unexpectedly. It has nothing against any human being at all. It is something like I walk on my road, walk in my room with my shoes. Then you must remember hundreds of thousands of microbes are getting killed by my foot. I never meant them. I never want to kill them. But I had to walk. I have to go from one place to another. All through the time, remember, I keep killing unwittingly, unintentionally, hundreds and thousands of small organisms. That is exactly what happens with nature. Earthquake, volcano, tsunamis are all parts of natural events. They occur by its own that's a way of life for itself. We get affected because we are also a part of nature. In a similar fashion, we will now take a look at the disease. You must have heard of it. Smallpox has been there for years together, for thousands of years. It occurs because a small microbe called virus keeps on multiplying. It is trying to find a host. So it finds a host in animals, and we are also one of the animals, so we also get affected. That is how smallpox is taking place. So that virus kept on multiplying happily in us, in human beings, and killing them joyfully. For thousands of years, people were just like dying after pain and disease, after a lot of suffering, until a person called Jenner, he is a scientist, and he came up with a vaccine against the smallpox. By that, he was able to take care of the virus not affecting the human beings. Remember, smallpox virus has not been eliminated throughout the world. It has been prevented spreading in us. That's all. So we have been saved. That means in a big chaos, Jenner has brought certain degree of relief from a disease called smallpox. There is another very important concept called entropy, which is a measure of randomness or disorder. I give an example. If you put a incense stick at the pot at some corner of your room, light it, it will produce fumes, very pleasant fumes. Imagine that stick is there at A and you are somewhere at B. What is required is the molecules carrying the pleasant fragrance are expected to reach you and make you happy. That's all. But what is actually happening is only 100 molecules from A to B will come straight to you, but another 100 will move in the left and another 100 move in the right, and then another 100 will move towards the top, another 100 will move towards the bottom. All of them will collide near the walls, near the door, near the ceiling, near the floor, and then they will come back to me after many, many losses. This is because between A and B, there are many, many paths. Among all this, the straight line is the shortest. Remember, this is the very important concept of entropy. Whatever I have said is about the molecules, inanimate molecules. Consider now a classroom consisting of small children in the age group of 6 or 7, where they are learning arithmetic. Give them a sum of 1 to 100. Write down 1 plus 2 plus 3 like that. Keep writing down on the board from 1 to 100. Leave them free and go away for half an hour. Come back and see how many of them would have got the correct answer. Any teacher would have immediately say that only few of them will get the correct answer. More than half, at least 60% of them will end up with the wrong answer. On the other hand, if you take care and sit with them, train them over and over again, and then after a few days give the same exercise, then most of them will get the correct answer. Only few would get the wrong answer. Just these two examples give a very important lesson for us. Disorderless is the way of life in nature. All that man can do, should do, has been doing is bring some order in the disorderly nature and try to make the best benefit out of this one. You teach the children to behave well and they become good children. You teach the unruly crowd well, they become the soldiers. Remember, the soldiers who are fighting in the war, they were not brought from moon or sun. They were all ordinary people like you and me, but they have been picked up, trained over and over again, so they become the first class soldiers with the proper capability to fight against enemy. I gave an example of an incense stick and a bunch of students. In both cases, you would have seen there is only one correct way, the shortest way between the incense stick and me. By making the sum of few numbers, there is only one correct answer, but hundreds of wrong answers. Because there are 100 ways of going wrong, but there is only one way of going right. This is what Pythagoras said by his very famous theorem. Between 2 points, there is only one straight line and hundreds of distorted lines, curved lines. The same thing in one of these very ancient Tamil poet, Thiruvalluvar, who has said, our mind keeps on roaming around, wandering around, drifting around in everything. செல்லிடத்து செலவிடாது தியதோரி நன்றின்பால் உய்ப்பது அறிவு. The emotions and impulses drive us hither and thither. It is left to the intellect to control them and direct them in a right direction. It is important that we have the control over our thoughts, our mind, so that we have enough common sense, enough insight, enough foresight to drive all our impulses towards the right goal. This is the essence of right behavior. This is exactly what Buddha has said. Right thinking, right planning, right organizing, right speech, right act. All these only put together. There are 8 such facets of good behavior he has enumerated. And remember, he was and he is one of the most celebrated, respected philosopher of all time in any religion. And he has said this one: control yourself so that all your efforts, all your thoughts, all your ambition goes towards something lofty, something great, and that comes only by planning, execution, and training. The corollary of whatever I have said is this. Just I want to bring to your mind that 1 kilogram of water has more entropy than 1 kilogram of ice, and it has less entropy than 1 kilogram of steam, because in a steam, 1 kilogram of steam, molecules are in a very high degree of random motion. In water, it is less. In iceberg, it is still it's the least. Now, from that point of view, all living systems, cat, rat, lion, elephant, whatever it is, are islands of low entropy. But all of us, all the living systems are being carried away by the stream of time, a long stream of river, the beginning of which we don't know, the end of which also we don't know. That means all mankind, all elephant kind, or animal kind are all different icebergs of different size and shape, but all of them being carried away in the river of time. Like all icebergs melts, human being also will melt the way that elephant iceberg will melt. The only difference between elephant and mankind is mankind has certain faculty with which we could play the drama, write the drama, be the director of a drama and also the spectator of the drama. And all through the time, we could look at the red of the sun and blue of the sky and imagine, and we could admire the beauty of nature, gas at the enormous of galaxy. That's the only difference. Otherwise, we are nowhere different from a cat or rat. What is important is eventually every iceberg should melt and become a system of higher entropy. For a short time, like an iceberg, it is a system of low entropy. Now hold your breath. I have cited some time ago in one of the lectures about the dinosaurs. They lived long ago, few million years ago, romped and delighted in the world, and they all disappeared. In a similar fashion, the mankind, another living system of less entropy, also will do all the dances, and eventually this also will have to dissolve in the stream of time. That means the mankind also, after a few million years, it should disappear. This may dishearten you, but your lifetime is only 100 years. Don't worry and try to make the best out of your time and be happy that you got a life. Just recall that every one of you is a magnificent edifice built by few billions of bricks carefully arranged. Only then you can ever listen to this lecture, and whether you understand or not, you have the life which is unique and it is only one. Make the best use of this rare opportunity.